Okay, it's now January 1915. We've got the situation on the Western Front is pretty static. The French and the British have been nibbling away at the German trenches, but apart from one attempt around here, they've never come even close to breaking through. The front from about this point onwards is static, just totally static, and it is gradually bleeding surplus units up to the north. German High Command strategy at the moment is definitely concentrated on the east, and the whole principle in the west is containment rather than anything else. French have really just been absorbing all the losses. They've been getting replacements coming in, but all those replacements are being used up gradually with losses from some of their offensives that they've been conducting. So they're getting a little bit stronger. But I think the Germans' big worry is going to be the British, because those 3 hexes occupied by the BEF forces, that's going to become a significant British expeditionary force. By about 1916, there's going to be a lot of units piling in there, and British units are very good. Not quite as good as German best units, but they are probably the second best units on the board. We've got the Italian front down here, which is just set up because these two nations aren't at war. Nothing's going to happen till I think it's May 1915 that the Italians get involved. In terms of supply, Germany's pretty much down to absolute dregs in ammunition. They've hardly got anything left. Allies got a bit more, but they're virtually at the end of the ability to launch serious offensives now. Probably going to have a couple more nibble away at the Germans a little bit in the early part of the year. It just depends how quick the sort of supplies of ammunition start dribbling through to the front, because everybody's used up their wartime reserves of ammunition, and we're now just using our domestic production to actually supply us with ammunition. So these charts, there's some charts here. Here we go. These, most of them only cover December 14, so they've all got to be updated with the replacement supply and demoralisation sort of rules for 1915. One thing we will be doing in 1915 is in March we'll introduce aircraft. Now, aircraft are handled quite abstracted in an abstract way, and that comes from the Grand Campaign rules. Now, the Grand Campaign rules also has rules on gas, but they look a bit finicky to me. Both aircraft and gas work on the principle that they very rarely had any decisive effect. So they're, as I say, they're fairly abstracted. I might have a look at gas. I'll just read it up again. It just looked really complicated for what it's worth. Situation on the Eastern Front. Germany not making any progress pushing the Russian First Army out of East Prussia. They've had a nibble or two at the Russian lines, but it's very difficult to get through those trenches, because most of their forces have been dragged into southern Poland. The lines outside Warsaw are pretty static as well. Occasionally the Germans have a go at the Russian sort of hexes that are surrounded by 3 German hexes. Not much movement there. Across the Vistula, the German offensive stopped because they're not going to be able to cross that river easily, and the Russians have got a reasonable amount of defence on the other side of the river. So the offensive has really switched over to the area where all these corps, Austrian and German corps, are. They're just trying to push the Russian front so it'll sort of unravel. It's bending, definitely bending, and the Russians are feeling the pressure throughout Galicia because the Austrians are giving them a bit of a go. There's no ammunition supplies left in this particular area, so everyone's attacking at our strength and counter-attacking at our strength. But we'll see. We'll see what comes in terms of ammunition starting in January. Down on the Serbian front, the Serbians are broken effectively, and it's pretty much game over. The Austrians have been playing a canny game here. They've just been chipping away at the Serbians for about 40 turns, something like that. And they didn't do any of the stuff they did historical. They didn't do those ludicrous suicidal attacks on Serbian positions that happened in reality, where they basically butchered their army and failed to make any progress in Serbia. They've been playing a good game here, and the Serbs they've just broken. They're running out of troops. Montenegrins have pulled out of virtually out of their home country. They've got a few hexes left in their own country, and they're trying to defend the flank of the Serbian position. But as I've been told by one of my subscribers, that if Nis falls over here, Bulgaria will enter the war early. Not that's going to make a huge difference. It's just going to annihilate Serbia. But the Serbians in this game will carry on fighting like they did historically, even if the entire country is occupied. We've got the Anatolian Dardanelles front here, static really. Turks are just leaving a lot of troops there just in case the Allies decide to launch a Gallipoli type attack. But Turkey really does need these troops elsewhere. If you're going to make any serious progress against the Russians in the Caucasus or against the Allies in Mesopotamia or Egypt, we're going to need some of these divisions. In terms of Syria, pretty much stalemate. The Turks have reached the Suez Canal, and they're just sort of stopped there at the moment. I don't think they've got the strength or the supplies to do anything against the British defenders there. The British, same sort of situation. They might be able to inflict a few casualties here or there, but I don't think it's really worthwhile at the moment. Over in the Caucasus, Russians have had an attack. It failed dreadfully. The Turks have had a couple of attacks that have been okayish, but you're really just swapping units here and wasting ammo because of the terrain is so bad. In Mesopotamia, British have annihilated Turkish units that were covering Basra, and they are advancing slowly on Kut, but I don't think they're going to have enough strength or supply to do anything. Historically, the attack on Kut, of course, was a complete disaster, and then led to the British Army being routed and having to fall back to Basra.